that, what was your environment like growing up?
I had a few different environments. Growing up around my mom, I was able to see, somebody who worked hard and did whatever it took to provide for her children. So that, I definitely inherited that I need to just go to school, do what I needed to do, and by any means make sure my children had whatever they needed. Also, what else? I had a couple different. I also got the family aspect of it. I had my favorite daycare was Annie's, and we had a very strong family connection there. Although they may not have been blood family, it was family. There was every holiday, they were just a very close knit family. So I knew that I always wanted that as well. What else? I was exposed to a lot of different things. Growing up. In my teenage years, I know when my dad got married, when I was about 14, he remarried. And his wife has a big family too. So I was introduced to family on that end as well. And she was actually one of the first entrepreneurs that I was around. She had a huge Mary Kay business. She did big numbers. Like she did big numbers. She was one of the ones with all the big prizes. Mm-hmm. Like I think she decided not to get the big pink Cadillac, and she took whatever the other thing was that they offered instead of that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she did real big in it, and I was able to be around and watch that. And she still does a lot of entrepreneurship endeavors, a lot of different businesses. So I was exposed to a lot of different aspects at different points in my life growing up.
Okay, and did you become like those environments after you grew up?
It's funny now that you asked that. I never thought about it, but I did. Everything from, like I said, watching my mom work hard to make sure she provided for her kids. I had to go through that as a single parent. And even now, being married, I go hard for my babies, all 27 of them, or 11, or whatever.
I don't have 27 kids, so strike that from the record.
Whatever. 11, 27, kind of the same thing.
No, it's not the same thing, y'all. It's really not. Don't listen. It's really not the same thing. 11 and 27... I looked at the number chart. I remember when I was in elementary school and we did the number chart. Right. Those numbers aren't really that close.
When it comes to kids in your house, it's not too much of a difference. But anywho, so yeah. So I go hard for my kids, just like my mom went hard for us. I'm big on family, obviously. I love to do things with my family. I love us praying together. We still sit down at the table together for dinner. Family game nights and movie night and all that kind of stuff. I love that kind of stuff. And then obviously entrepreneurship, although I didn't see a lot of people around me doing it, I was able to see a couple people as entrepreneurs growing up. So yeah, all of that was built into me early.
Okay, and with all of those different environments that you grew up in, and you really seeing it manifest into where you are now, what's your thought process now behind everything that you witnessed? And I mean, a lot of times we don't really know the different things that we experience and witness until we're talking about something and it brings up old memories. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, looking back at that now and your thought process of it, how do you feel as though you can utilize the same type of environment that you grew up in, the good parts and the bad parts, and instill that in your children?
I think just kind of doing what we do currently, and one of the things that I believe in as a parent is being open and honest with my children. Telling them the things that I went through growing up, the good and the bad. Teaching them those things and extracting from those things what I need to extract to give to them. So I may not sit there and tell them each and every detail of my life, but I know exactly what will help my child. What I tell one child, I may not tell another child because they may not all be able to process it the same way. So definitely just passing down a lot of the lessons that I did learn from the past, whether good or bad, is something that I will do.
Yeah, definitely. And when you were saying that, it was making me think, each and every person that I've ever come across is literally a book. Their life is a book. And, you know, reading a book is great. It's definitely great. I love reading now. You know, it was something I loved as a child, but as I got older, I brainwashed myself and tricked myself into believing that I couldn't read. Not that I couldn't or wasn't able, but it just bored me to sleep, literally. And I fixed my mind on the fact I can't read. Once I start reading, I'm gonna fall asleep because I'm just so bored. Mm-hmm. Even when it was really great books, mm-hmm. because I trained my mind and I put that negativity inside of me, it manifested every single time. So every time I started to read, I would literally fall asleep, mm-hmm. no matter what. And you know, with me seeing that everybody is a book, and me reading a lot of books now, I can justify saying that, you know, a lot of the books that I read, I could have did with about 3 or 4 chapters. I would have been good with 3 or 4 chapters because those books, those chapters really spoke to me, and the other chapters not so much. So, you know, when you look at your life and you look at your story, I mean, we all have a story, a major story, but, you know, depending on who you're talking to, who that audience is, you know, taking bits and pieces from that story, taking chapters and just putting it into somebody, you know, it's whatever reaches them in the way that is going to best suit them and help them move forward. So when you said that, it really made me think about that, mm-hmm. because, you know, I know my children, and those of you out there listening who have children, multiple children, you know, they're all completely different. They're just all different no matter what. Mm-hmm. I know twins, triplets, that's not nowhere near the same. Mm-hmm. So, you know, when you understand that everybody is different, you have to really learn how not to treat them all the same. Yeah. And, you know, that's something I struggle with as a parent, you know, really trying to say, all right, listen, you're a child, this is the way things are supposed to go, and that's the end of it. Mm-hmm. You know, put my foot down. But, man, listen, if God put his foot down on me for the craziness that I did, there wouldn't be no me right now, yo. So, you know, being able to reach your children and anyone that you come across on their level, mm-hmm. is very, very key. So always remember that. Always remember that. So, you know, with that being said, I wanna go a little bit more deeper now. You know, I want to know 3 major life events that you believe affected you in the way you look at life.
3 major life events that affected me. I think that one major life event that affected me in the way that I look at life now is the passing of my grandma. When my grandma passed, I was I 19? I think I was 19 years old. And I was in the military. And I was stationed down in Biloxi, Mississippi. And no, I was 18. Yeah, I was 18. And I was stationed down in Biloxi, Mississippi. And I remember getting a call saying that my grandma was sick. And that, you know, everybody wanted me home. So I had to get whatever paperwork done to make sure I made it home. But by the time I got home, she had passed already. So that hurt me because I had just really started to get to know my grandma. Maybe, I don't even know, maybe like 6-7 years prior. I had really just started to get to know no, not even that long. It might have been about 3 or 4 years, something like that, prior that I really started getting close to my grandma. So when she passed, it was like, dang, I feel like I still had so much that I wanted to find out, you know, so much more time that I wanted to have with her, to talk to her and different things like that. And that changed me because I know that now I want to make sure my children really embrace their family, or really not even embrace, really know their family. So I want to connect everybody, you know. So I really, really value family, and I want to make sure that they're connected to their family. So that's one thing that definitely changed me. I'm trying to think of other really key things that changed me. Definitely my military experience. That changed me. I had a lot of growth in that. Even my experience in college. I know I said I only did one semester right after school, but that changed me. That changed my outlook on how the combination between college, my first time around, and the military changed my outlook on how I instill or how I show my children the way to go with them growing up. Because that kind of helped me to see that the college life isn't for everybody. You know, and I understand that now, going through that. Just like military isn't for everybody. Just like...
Nope, it's definitely not.
Just like entrepreneurship isn't for everybody. You know, so just like Daniel was saying a minute ago, each kid is different. So where this kid, I may see something in him and I know that, oh my goodness, you have to go to college because you're meant to be a doctor. I may push you into going to college a little more than another kid. You know, whereas I noticed the conversation that you and I had in the past too. I really, really want all of my children to experience college life. Mm-hmm. You know, I want them to do their 100% best in high school so that colleges can be fighting over them and they can go to college but not have to come out of pocket. Mm-hmm. You know, so that way they can go to college, and if it's not for them, fine. They didn't waste any money or anything. So, you know, but if they do, great. They can go through college, they can get their degree, but still they didn't have to spend any money on it. You know, because a lot of times people will get their college degrees and then they don't even work in the field that they got their college degree in.
A lot of times. A very large lot of times.
Exactly. So, you know, so even if they do go ahead through college, it's no guarantee that they're going to work in that field. So either way, I just want them to be able to experience college, even if it's just for not just the education, but for the experience. You know, being on campus and joining clubs and having a good time at different, you know, safe college parties and, you know, whatever it is that the campus life, living on campus has to offer. Not just going over to CCP, where that's cool, but I mean like real college life. Mm-hmm. You know, going away to college and mm-hmm. being away from home and that kind of thing. I want my children to experience that. Yeah,
that's something I never got the chance to experience. And I don't know how my experience would have been. You know, I was a nerdy jock, pretty much. You know, I was a real smart kid, but I played sports, and you know, I was a corny boy in a sense, because after school, you knew where to find me at. I was at the gym. That's all I did after school. Every day I was at the gym if I wasn't working. So, I mean, I went out, I hung out with friends and all of that, but I wasn't ever really the party type guy. So, I mean, the experience would have been completely different for me than it was for Lynette. Mm-hmm. Cause she was in her getting where I fit in mentality. Me, I could care less about fitting in with anybody. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm gonna do me. And you want to hate on me because I'm still rocking my throwback jerseys? Go ahead and hate. I don't care.
You see like, me, it's like, oh, these aren't cool. Okay, I'll put it away. What's cool? I'll go find it.
Yeah, no. I could care less what anybody thinks. You know, that public opinion to jack you up big time. Mm-hmm. Big time.
Yeah.
We talking about mindset shiftology, trying to fit in and be what society wants you to be, and be in the fit-in mentality where I have to follow this trend and that trend will jack you up worse than anything. Mm-hmm. Because it'll completely shatter your self-esteem, your self-belief, your self-identity, everything regarding yourself. It'll completely destroy it because you are not yourself when you're trying to fit in. You are trying to be what the world wants you to be or what others want you to be. So you never need to lose sight of yourself. And, you know, trying to fit in will definitely jack you up big time in that manner. So one more life event.
One more life event. All right, I'm struggling with it now. Another life event. Definitely. It's crazy when you're doing a radio show in the same room with somebody sometimes, because they be saying stuff and you're trying to figure out what they're saying while you're still trying to keep talking at the same time, and it's like not really working too well. So those are the blank spots that you hear So anywho,